I think this crisis was a deep one which had causes beyond the financial sector. The financial sector was important, but there were other reasons. And I think if I were to summarize it, it would be a fundamental flaw in the growth paths that countries have. And that created instability, that created the need for debt-fueled growth to keep the growth going, and eventually that proved unsuccessful. So, for example, in the United States, there was clearly a liberalization of the economy, which created tremendous opportunities for those in the upper tier. So you had a greater demand for highly skilled people because of globalization, because of technological improvements, because of greater competition, but not enough of a supply, which led to greater inequality. That inequality eventually led to pressure for something to be done, and that something that was done was easier credit to keep people happy. And as that easy credit flowed, it became excessive, and we had the subprime crisis. So, you know, it's a complicated cause, but ultimately it's the unsustainability of the growth path. Similarly, I think in Southern Europe, the crisis it's facing today has to do with the unsustainability of the growth path. And in a sense, what I'm asking with the book is, don't focus on the here and now, the immediate symptom, which is the financial sector, which is important. I think trying to tame the financial sector is a big concern for capitalism. But I think also focus on the deep causes. I don't think any country is safe, but I don't think Brazil is in crisis. Brazil comes from a very good place. I think the growth that Brazil has experienced, partly through exports, partly through the consumption, credit transfer fueled model of President Lula, has worked quite well for some time. But again, I think longer run, exports are going to slow because the industrial countries are growing very slowly. They have to be readjusted to export towards the emerging markets. But I think the other side of it also, that the consumption fueled growth eventually becomes too fast, too unaffordable. Too many people are getting credit who shouldn't be getting credit. Brazil has to worry about that. And I think, I'm not saying that it's in the middle of a crisis, but as you can see for the mounting bad loans, that it is something to be very concerned about. And to focus on what Brazil hasn't done as much. I think what the Institute talks about, things like creating a better climate for business, expanding infrastructure, very important role for the government, reducing the tax burden and making it more uniform, spreading the base, reducing the tax level, which means that there has been expenditure side reform. Spend on the things that you need to spend on, and less on the things that are not necessary and not very efficient ways of spending. Give more room for the creative energies of the people. Those are things that every emerging market has to do more of. I sort of personally believe Brazil will get there, but it's not a done deal so far.